You may think you already understand Stoicism, but the truth is that this philosophy goes far beyond motivational phrases or accepting everything calmly. Stoicism is not passivity, it is power. It is the art of transforming pain into learning, challenges into growth, and chaos into control. And believe me, it has already shaped empires and brilliant minds before you even heard of it. But do you really know this philosophy in depth? Or are you just skimming the surface of what can really change your life? Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and other giants of history understood something that many ignore. True freedom is not in what happens around you, but in what happens within you. In this video, we will reveal secrets that can redefine your view of Stoicism and, who knows, even your own life. Get ready to discover how a slave became one of the greatest masters of philosophy, how an emperor found peace in the midst of chaos, and, most importantly, how you can apply these teachings today. What comes next may challenge everything you believe about control, destiny, and inner power. Imagine being born without even having the right to a name. Epictetus came into the world as another man's property, with no identity of his own, no choices. His name actually means acquired, because that's exactly what he was, a possession. But fate had much bigger plans for him. Born nearly 2,000 years ago in Hierapolis, Epictetus grew up in the chains of slavery. From day one, his life was not his own. However, unlike many who resigned themselves to this burden, he carried an unquenchable flame within him, a knowledge that his mind could never be imprisoned. His early years were marked by the brutality of the Roman Empire, but it was precisely there that his philosophical journey began. He understood early on something that would change his life, and later, that of thousands of people. Being physically free means nothing if the mind is chained. Epictetus' slavery was not just a social condition, it was a sentence of pain. His owner, an influential official in Nero's court, saw him not as a human being, but as a disposable object. Epictetus was reportedly severely physically abused, and some say that one of these attacks left him with a lifelong limp. Yet neither pain nor humiliation could break his inner strength. Even when he gained his freedom, the challenges did not cease. In Rome, he began teaching philosophy, inspiring his disciples to see beyond appearances and master their emotions. But fate, merciless, would test his resilience once again. Accused of spreading ideas that threatened imperial control, Epictetus was unjustly exiled, removed from everything he had built. Imagine spending your life fighting to win your freedom only to be torn away from the place where you rebuilt everything. For many, that would be the end. For Epictetus, it was just more proof that true freedom never depends on the outside world. He accepted his exile with serenity and moved on, because he understood that the only real prison is the one we create within our minds. Faced with all the adversity, Epictetus could have become a bitter man, but he chose a different path. He did not see himself as a victim of fate, but as an active participant in the construction of his own story. For him, what happens around us is less important than how we choose to react. His pain was not a curse, but a training ground for the mind. He saw each obstacle as a teacher in disguise. Slavery taught him that no one can steal his inner freedom. Pain showed him that suffering is a choice, and exile revealed that a man's true home is his own conscience. Nothing could take him away from his purpose, because he understood that external circumstances are only temporary scenarios and that what really matters is how we deal with them. This vision made him unshakable. While many sought refuge in wealth or status, Epictetus cultivated something that no one could take away: self-mastery. He proved that a disciplined mind can transform any situation into a field of growth. And this lesson is not only valid in ancient Rome, it is a powerful weapon for those who want to overcome challenges even today. The world may try to impose limits, but true freedom can never be chained. For Epictetus, freedom was not a matter of social position or wealth, but of control over one's own mind. He said that we can lose everything, money, status, even our bodies, but as long as we have control over our thoughts, no one can enslave us. He taught that every event in life has two handles to hold on to, one that strengthens us and one that makes us succumb. When faced with a difficulty, we can see it as an unbearable burden or as a stepping stone to growth. The choice is in our hands. We don't control what happens, but we do control how we react, and that's where our true power lies. His philosophy showed that the man who seeks freedom outside himself will continue to be a prisoner, while the one who controls his emotions and impulses will always be free, even inside a cell. For Epictetus, it doesn't matter where we are or what happens to us. It only matters how we use our consciousness to shape our own reality. Epictetus lived under the rule of Nero, one of the most feared and extravagant emperors in the history of Rome. Surrounded by sycophantic senators and power-hungry generals, Nero believed he had absolute control over everyone around him. But Epictetus saw something different. Those men, despite their wealth and influence, were slaves to their own ambitions, vices, and vanities. As he watched nobles and powerful people lose themselves in games of manipulation and intrigue, Epictetus realized an uncomfortable truth. It is not position that defines a man's freedom, but his ability to govern himself. Nero was an emperor, but he was chained by fear of betrayal. The courtiers wore luxurious robes, but they trembled at any change in the emperor's mood. Epictetus, even though he was a slave, had something that they would never have: a free mind. This realization further shaped his philosophical thinking. He understood that the search for external power is a trap that imprisons more than it liberates. True power is not in dominating others, but in dominating yourself. And this lesson remains relevant today. How many people today sacrifice their peace to try to impress others, without realizing that they are just exchanging one prison for another? Epictetus' mind was always his greatest wealth, and it was through philosophy that he found his true liberation. While still young, he came into contact with the teachings of Musonius Rufus, one of the greatest thinkers of Stoicism. Under his guidance, Epictetus learned that virtue and self-control are more valuable than any material possession. He realized that true greatness is not in titles or power, but in the way we lead our lives. Over time, he became a respected teacher, gaining freedom and dedicating himself entirely to teaching. His school of philosophy at Nicopolis attracted students from all over Rome, including such influential figures as the future Emperor Hadrian. His words have shaped leaders and ordinary citizens alike, offering a practical guide for facing adversity with wisdom and discipline. For Epictetus, it was not enough to just know philosophy, it was necessary to live it. His teachings resonated even with Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, who would carry the principles of Stoicism with him as he ruled Rome. Epictetus' impact was so profound that his ideas have survived the test of time, reaching us today. His journey proves that it doesn't matter where we start, what defines our destiny are the choices we make along the way. For Epictetus, life is like a play where we do not choose the role we are given, but we have the obligation to play it in the best way possible. Some are born kings, others slaves, but the real difference is not in the role, but in how we deal with it. What matters is not what happens to us, but how we choose to act in the face of events. Stoicism teaches that we do not control the world around us, only our thoughts and attitudes. We can lose money, health, status, but never our ability to decide how we react. Difficulties do not shape who we are, they only reveal what already exists within us. Faced with any crisis, we have two options: be destroyed by it or use it to grow. This philosophy is not a distant theory, but a manual for life. When we face challenges, we can remember the Stoic teachings and ask, Is this within my control? If the answer is no, we must accept it and move on. If so, we must act with wisdom and discipline. After all, true power lies not in changing destiny, but in mastering ourselves. Nothing great is built without effort. Epictetus knew that discipline is not a restriction, but a tool to achieve true freedom. While many wait for fate to deliver what they desire, the Stoic understands that fate is shaped by daily actions. The secret is not in grand gestures, but in the consistency of the small choices we make every day. He believed that the mind should be trained like a muscle. Just as an athlete grows stronger through repetitive effort, the soul grows stronger by facing difficulties without complaining. If we give in to laziness, fear, or vanity, we become slaves to our own impulses. But if we cultivate self-mastery, we become masters of our own lives. If we want to change our destiny, we must start with what is within our reach, our habits, our mindset, and our way of reacting to challenges. As Epictetus taught, we should not seek comfort, but growth. Life is unpredictable, but those who have discipline are not knocked down by the winds of chance. They use them to sail with even greater strength. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a path to transforming your life. If you have come this far, you have already taken a step forward. Now you know that control is within you and that each challenge can be an opportunity for growth. But knowledge without action changes nothing. So, ask yourself, how can you apply these teachings today? What is within your control that you can improve right now? Here on the channel, we bring deep and practical reflections on Stoicism, discipline, and personal growth. If you want to continue on this journey and strengthen your mind to face any challenge, subscribe now and turn on notifications. That way, you will always have access to content that will help you become more resilient, wise, and self-sufficient. Don't put it off. The time to start is now. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. The community here is growing, and together we can learn and evolve more and more. Comment below which teaching from Epictetus impacted you the most and how you intend to apply it in your life. Your experience can inspire others. Let's strengthen this Stoic mindset together.